Okay, I'll call this meeting of the City of Kerrville Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Dorothy, would you call roll, please?
Bob Waller.
Here.
Garrett Harmon.
Here.
Don Barnett.
Here.
Michael Siegerman.
Here.
Rustin Zuber.
Here.
Glenn Andrew.
Here.
David Jones.
Here.
Marty Leonard.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the first item on the agenda is the election of new officers in accordance with Article 11-1-22A6 2 to the City of Kerrville zoning code. The commission shall each year at its first regular meeting of the new year elect a chair and vice chair from among the regular members. The commission may elect such other officers as it deems necessary from the membership. I guess at this point I will ask for nominations for chair and vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Waller as chair.
Second.
Okay, I have a nomination for Bob Waller as chair, and I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Passes. Can I vote on that?
Sure.
Okay, 5-0.
4-1.
Okay, and for chair, and I'd like to hear a nomination from the commission for vice chair.
I'll nominate Garrett Harmon for vice chair.
I'll second.
Yeah, I have a nomination and a second to appoint Karen Harmon as vice chair. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. And we have our officers elected for this year. Thank you. Number 2, Visitor Citizens Forum. Any person with business not scheduled on the agenda is encouraged to briefly speak their ideas to the commission. Please fill out the speaker request form. Give it to the commission secretary prior to the meeting. The number of speakers will be limited to the first 10, with each speaker limited to 3 minutes. No formal action can be taken on these items, as the Open Meetings Act requires formal action items to be posted on an agenda no later than 72 hours before the meeting. If formal action is required, the items will be placed on the agenda at a future meeting. Item number 3 is the consent agenda.
I'm sorry. Visitors? Did you want me to, are you ready?
Oh, certainly, excuse me.
Bonnie White, 402 Forest Ridge, Kerrville. I just want to welcome the new members and the alternates. We thank each one of you that applied and have been accepted by council, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. Having said that, I also want to encourage you, according to the procedure that you have in your booklet for purpose of the P&Z committee, that you will have at some point in time a planning meeting, and perhaps it will be with us at council when we have our meeting for comprehensive plan and future development. But according to that design, P&Z will be and shall be and should be adding to that. So we hope that you'll take some time to put that on your agenda in the future. And again, thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you,
you,
Madam
Bonnie.
Mayor. Appreciate it. Number 3, the consent agenda. All items listed below in the consent agenda are considered routine or ministerial in nature and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item 3A, approval of the minutes from the December 15, 2016 meeting. Start on page 2.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Yeah, I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Number 4 for consideration and action. 4A, consideration and action amending a plat. Trent?
Thank you. The first item on the agenda, as mentioned, was item 4A, located 1149 Norfolk Lane. This is an amending plat. Excuse me. At the time, staff did write the recommendation. We did recommend denial because there were some changes that needed to be done to the amending plat for the easement. Since we sent you the packet and emailed it to you, they have made those required changes. As you can see I passed out earlier the proposed easement changes near the front, creating a 10-foot wide easement near the front and narrowing it down towards the property line. Due to these changes being made, staff does recommend approval.
So Trent, what was this issue exactly? I was a little confused.
So originally there was a easement on this property on the southwest property line. There was a storm drain that ran along this. That was pretty close to the easement boundary when they were proposing building a structure. That structure was pretty close to that line, where if there was some sort of damage or they need to repair that line, it would be fairly difficult to get to that line, causing a possible health safety issue. Staff did have concerns about it. We've been working with them for quite a couple of months, for a few months now, working out how to resolve that. They've moved the pipe. They're narrowing down the easement to avoid that. We just wanted to be able to protect the homeowners, the city, in the event the city took over this at any time in the future, that we would be able to get to, or the homeowners would be able to get to it, and there wouldn't be any
Is that
issues.
surface drainage or underground?
Underground.
How deep is it?
I would not be able to answer that question specifically. It's pretty deep from.
And what's it constructed of?
I need to talk to the city engineer to be able to better answer that, or their engineer. Oh. Mr. Volker.
Lee Vocal, 212 Clay Street. The first question, I think, how deep? It starts out close to the road at probably 5 to 6 feet. As it goes toward the back of the lot, it gets down to about 15, 16 feet. And it's a 24-inch corrugated metal pipe, drain pipe. Trent explained exactly the reason why we're doing this, and it's just a matter of getting that pipe away from the edge of the easement and basically down the property line. It does cross the property line, but the pipe has already been removed and replaced.
So it's a new pipe that's in there now?
It is correct. That's
Because I've had experience with pipes collapsing.
correct. And what they did,
And you gotta dig them out, it's a big problem.
as it came from the street, they went to the first section and cut it there, dug, and then from that section on, put in new pipe the rest of the way. And I said removed. I actually think they kept the old pipe in place. It's been disconnected. It doesn't go to anything. But I think they just put in a new pipe and left the old pipe there.
Okay, thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Okay, thank you.
So you've narrowed the easement
On that side.
on that
right.
site
It's still
to
pretty
comply,
wide.
so it complies with the narrowing of the easement.
Right. Yes.
Any other questions by the commission? If not, I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the plat change as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the plat as amended. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. 4B, consideration and action for a final plat. Trent?
Yes, thank you. This is located at 3371 Loop 534. This is the final plat for this project for another self-storage. At the time this was mailed out, staff did recommend denial. We needed some text dot notes and some other guidelines on there. But they have corrected all the issues. We have a corrected version in my hands right now that have all the text dot required notes on it as well. They've added this sewer line, the easement for the sewer line. Our city engineer is our city engineer, our public works director, they're all fine with the layout of these easements, and staff now does recommend approval.
Trent, you said you had copies with you?
We have one large copy showing, right now what you see on the screen, oops, sorry. What you see on the screen is one of the later versions showing the sewer line. That was one of our major concerns. At the last minute, TxDOT told us that they wanted to add their notes to it, their typical notes for plats. That doesn't show on this plat, but this, the Mylars and the final hard copy do show the TxDOT notes. I'm more than happy to pass this out if you'd like to look at the TxDOT notes.
What do they say? Essentially.
They're the pretty common TxDOT notes that they're going to comply with all of TxDOT regulations.
So there's nothing special.
No, it's pretty common for all final plats and any plats that abut TxDOT right away.
And there's no real runoff issues on this property?
What was
Pretty,
that, sir?
no runoff issues? It's a
Any
pretty good
runoff
sized piece of
issues-
property.
Right, any runoff issues were addressed during the civils and the development site plan for this project, so they've all been addressed at this time. And the plat shouldn't affect that.
They weren't required to build a detention pond, were they? They're just gonna do surface runoff?
They do have their civil engineer to answer any questions that you might have about drainage, but our city engineer approved their civils for all drainage requirements.
Mike Wellborn, 211 Golden Valley. There is a detention pond designed and constructed in the front of this project.
Oh, there is.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission? If not, I'll accept the motion.
I move that the final plat be approved as presented.
I have a motion and a second for approval as presented, I guess subject to the TxDOT language being put on the plat.
And those have been put on the plat.
Okay.
They submitted a copy a few minutes ago with all TxDOT notes on there.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, passes 5-0. Staff reports.
Yes, the only thing we have to report today is that we do have another meeting at the end of the month. We also will be having a training, as I talked about last time, coming up soon, especially because we do have new members, and it's a nice reminder about what planning and zoning, their roles are as part of what the zoning code states. We had one last year. I thought it went pretty well, and we'll be based around the same lines of what we did last year for the training.
Do you have a date for that, you said?
No, I'm thinking the beginning of February.
Okay.
I'm going to try to schedule it for a time roughly around the same time. Last year we had it at 4 o'clock on a Thursday, just so you don't have to alter your schedules too much. But I'm hoping one of the first meetings in, I was even thinking if we had a shortened meeting, just to have the training right after the shortened meeting.
What about the joint meeting with city council?
We could do a
Has that been
joint
planned at all?
for the comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
I don't have anything planned right now. That might be.
This would be preliminary, basically, to what we do there. This is more descriptive specifically to P and Z.
Ours is more routine, but we're a lot more interested in the comprehensive plan than we are this, to tell you the truth. But you haven't set yours yet.
No, sir.
Any other comments from the commission? If not, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second?
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thank you.